So in this video, I'm going to talk a little bit about in-text citation and incorporation of your material from your source. And here we are back at the Trinity College website with the style sheets that help you to determine the elements that you need when you are doing your documentation. And as I opened it up in the last video, I opened up a library database journal article style sheet, which gives you all of the information that you're likely to find when you find an item, for example, on EBSCOhost or a similar database. And I showed you in the other video how to incorporate the material into a references list at the end of your work or accompanying a work that you have done that is multimedia, for example. If you're writing an essay or you're writing any other kind of written version of your work that incorporates material from your sources, you need to cite your sources very clearly in text. And so these elements here show you that parenthetical citation in text and what that looks like when it's being used in that piece of writing. So this is the actual, this is the actual parenthetical citation itself. The reason it's called parenthetical citation is because it's in parentheses. A citation is a reference to the source. And you'll notice that the source information here, so the names of the authors, matches exactly the information that is the first piece of information in your list of references. I should be able to identify from the in-text citation which reference source exactly your information came from. And it should be a very, very easy thing for me to find, for my eye to go from looking at this piece of information in your essay to looking at this information in the list of references. The date is there because very often you have these kinds of teams of researchers or people who are working on papers who publish more than one, so this helps to identify which of the papers they are referring to in a quick and easy way. As you can see below here, you can also integrate your information by mentioning the names of the authors and then putting the date again to identify which paper exactly or which study you're referring to. And then again, there are some other ways that you can refer to the author, but you'll notice that this author's name always matches the author who is first listed in your references list, again, to make things really, really easy when I'm finding that information. So if I look back again at a student's piece of work, you can see how this student has incorporated the author and the date as part of her parenthetical citation, and that this author's name corresponds exactly to the first name that we see in the references list. Now what she should probably have done, because look how many authors there are here, as often happens in the social sciences, you have a lot of collaborators in the study and they're all credited. Chometz is only the first. And so she probably should have indicated up here that it is more than one author. She could have said, for example, Chometz et al., which means and the rest. But this is still helpful to me because I can very easily find which of the items in the list of references is the one that she's referring to. You'll also notice that she included this parenthetical citation even though she did not directly quote the source. So she made reference to the information and where she found that information. So even in a paraphrase or even in a summary, you still need to cite your source and very clearly indicate where that information came from. If you have a large chunk of information that you're using from a source, that is when you would use this kind of introductory sentence because it helps signal to the reader that you are referring to something that you found in your research. And so you can put this information before the start of the incorporated material, just to signal to us, I'm about to include some information that comes from somewhere else. And you can also make additional references as you go on to the study or the article, just to indicate very clearly where the information is coming from if it's come from your research. Otherwise, you risk plagiarism, where you have used information that you clearly found somewhere else and you did not reference it, you did not provide your sources, which is considered a very serious problem, particularly at the post-secondary level. So in thinking ahead towards university where they will be very strict, please try as much as possible to document all of your sources, and there should be references to any of the sources that appear in your references list within your piece of work.